Hey everyone, Russ here from RT Golf. Thanks for tuning into this month's coaching video. Myself and Josh are down here on the 10th hole, just a few yards from the edge of the fairway. Well, Josh actually is a little bit further away, he's over there in that rough. And we're just going to go through judging your lie, then the subsequent club that you might use for the next shot, because you know, I mean, every shot on the golf course that you have, to a point, should be, you know, your decision making should be based on how the ball is lying anyway. But especially when you come up slightly off the fairway, especially here at the moment in the semi-rough, it can be quite tricky, and we've got to make sure that we choose the right club. So firstly, Josh is going to come down and have a look at this lie, because this is not great. As you can see, I'm in the semi-rough, but I've got the grass has been cut this way, so from the green back towards the tee, and as a result the ball is really sat down, and I've got grass kind of growing against me. As I've got my fairway wood out, you know, as I try and get the club behind the ball, I've got a barrier of grass between the club face and the ball, so this is going to make life pretty difficult for me to get enough of the club face on the back of the ball to get the ball out of the grass. I simply don't have enough loft on my fairway wood. And to be honest with you, even as I drop down to maybe my hybrid with a little bit more loft, which, you know, to be fair, these can usually be quite good out of the semi-rough depending on your lie. Even this one, to be honest, I do not feel comfortable. I'm not hugely confident that I can get the ball high enough and or far enough and or keep it straight enough to kind of get myself back in play and, you know, enable me to have a, you know, the ideal kind of third shot from this position. So I'm gonna take my medicine, and I'm gonna drop down to a short iron. I'm gonna go to a 9-iron. There's no exact rule here, it doesn't have to be a 9-iron, but I want something that has a lot more loft on it. So I feel like I can get my 9-iron a little bit closer to the golf ball, plus because it's a short iron, that's going to encourage me to be a little bit steeper into the back of the golf ball. It's going to help eliminate some of the grass behind the ball. I've got a slightly better chance of getting a bit more of the ball, plus I've got more loft on the face, so I should be able to get it high enough and far enough to get me past the semi-rough and back into the fairway. So I'm just going to have a go. I'm not going to leave anything back. I'm going to try and hit it quite hard, just a nice normal 9-iron, and just try and get the ball out and back into play. So that's okay. You can see I've got a bit of a divot there because I was quite steep into the ball to make sure I got it out. That's where using the short iron will really help you from a really poor lie. Okay, now I've kind of got the opposite. So the grass is now, I'm in a bit of the rough that's been cut from the tee towards the green, so the grass has been cut this way. Now my ball here is lying on top of the grass, so my path into the back of the ball is not quite as restricted as it was from over here. However, we still have to be quite careful with this one, because my ball is on top of the grass, it's almost like it's teed up. I'm quite a long way from the ground itself. So firstly, I've got to be careful with putting my club down behind the ball. It looks like it's sat a little precariously, so I don't want to be too aggressive here and make the ball move. And then secondly, because of that, what I don't want to do is get my club level with the ground and then actually have the ball, because it's on top of the grass, sat very high towards the top of the club face. So again, if I get it up there, that's going to mean bad contact. I'm not going to be sure of it coming out or quite where it's going to go. We've got to do all we can to try and hit it out the middle of the club face still, just like we would regardless of, you know, if we were in the middle of the fairway. So what I'm going to do here is just hover the club slightly above the ground. So firstly, that helps with me not pressing down on the ground and potentially causing the ball to move. But then secondly, really helps focus my contact point for the center of the club. So just going to lightly hover the club just behind the golf ball, not press down too much. that's come out okay. I was uninhibited really into the back of the ball. That's come out okay. So 2 different lies, only a yard or so apart from each other, but really important to choose the right club and read the lie properly. Now we're going to go over to Josh's lie in the rough. We're going to see what he's got, and Josh is going to take over and talk us through this one, which we've been quite lucky to find, to be honest with you.
Okay, so really sat down in there now. So it's kind of similar to what Russ was talking about with the into the grain lie. We're going to go for an even more lofted club here, because we're really just trying to get it just get it out of this thick stuff back into play in the fairway. So we're going to be using, I've got a lob wedge here, sand wedge or pitching wedge would be great. In terms of setup wise, we were going to be going kind of 60% of our weight on our left foot, and then we're just going to be trying to really hit down into the back of that ball and pop it out. A nice committed swing, making sure you're accelerating through that golf ball. And it came out pretty okay.